What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate support. Guys, I'm going to talk to you today about the violence problem that we have here in America. In this video, I want to speak specifically about youth violence or teen violence. People are out here right now, they're lobbyists saying, hey, we need to get rid of guns and stuff like that because it would stop, a lot of the violence. It would not stop the violence. That's the thing. A lot of these people you see running around here, nowadays shooting people, doing random shootings and stuff. If you took guns away, the violent nature that's in these people, and a lot of these lone wolves and idiots that are running around doing these mass shootings, they still would do something, but they would replace the gun most likely with knives or other things. See, people can talk all about how bad guns are, but guns are a tool used by violent people to commit violence. And there are other things you can use out here besides guns. We've seen it. There's been a lot of mass casualty events in this country, namely shootings, but there's also been some stabbings. When people have a propensity to where they can't resolve conflict, they have zero impulse control, and they want to go out here and hurt others because they feel as though they've been wronged or some type of political agenda. Nowadays, that's the new thing. They're going to hurt people regardless of if they have a gun or not. And that's the thing that needs to be addressed here. I want to talk about a story out of Mobile, Alabama. Shout out Mobile. And this is a common occurrence across the nation. A lot of chaotic youths out here that are doing a lot of crazy stuff, and they're on a one-way speeding train to nowhere, usually towards a dead end. And they like taking other people with them. Today I want to talk about a story, right, of 4 kids, teenagers, ranging from 17 years old, and the youngest was 13 years old, that they're saying were gang members in a stolen car after school. Police, got wind that the car was stolen, was following behind them, and the back 2 shooters, like a Hollywood film, while the car was driving, leaned out and started shooting at the deputies. Now these kids, just look at this, y'all. You'll see what I'm saying when you see this. Go ahead and look.
4 teenagers are in custody after 2 of them are suspected of firing shots at Mobile County Sheriff's deputies. Sheriff Paul Birch says the teens were inside a stolen vehicle when they opened fire, but thankfully nobody was hurt. Our Natalie Williamson was at the scene earlier today. She joins me in the studio with your late night reporting. And Natalie, Sheriff Birch says the teens are actually a part of a gang.
Yeah, that's right, Ashlyn. So Paul Birch says the teens are 17, 15, 14, and 13 years old. And this all happened just a few hours ago in Tolmanville on Wagner and Kent Street. Sheriff Birch says while the 4 teens were in the stolen car, deputies spotted the vehicle and tried to pull them over. And that's when 2 of the teens hung out the windows and opened fire. Tonight, 4 teenagers are in custody after Mobile County Sheriff Paul Birch says 2 of them shot at deputies while inside a stolen car. This all happening around 3:45 this afternoon on Wagner and Kent Street. Sheriff Birch says 4 teenagers who are part of a gang were inside this stolen car being followed by deputies.
As they began following through some of these short streets coming into this neighborhood, they were pretty much knew they were being followed. So they had the 2 rear passengers hung out of the rear windows and started firing at the deputy. There's probably between 10 or 15, 20 rounds have been fired.
Birch says the teens bailed out of the car. 1 was still in his school uniform. While Mobile police and deputies walked around the scene, a clear backpack was on the ground next to the passenger side of the stolen car while the door was still open. And down the road on Surrey Street, over 12 evidence markers next to shell casings. A neighbor in the area who wants to remain anonymous tells me she was inside her home when everything unfolded.
When I heard the gunshot, I kind of jumped because I knew it was close. and I didn't come out because it kind of stopped. When I heard it on the news, I come out the house and all I could see is police everywhere. But I did not know it was that close to my house.
Another community member, Mae Joyce, says seeing young children acting out in violence is heartbreaking.
So parents, please, I'm begging you to talk to your young youth tonight and let them know. Please stay clear of anything that's not positive. Go to school, get an education, listen at your teacher, and become somebody, because now it's much needed in time like this.
Birch says if any homes or cars were hit by bullets, the teens could face additional charges. Ashlyn?
Okay, guys, you've seen that. And I want to talk about a few things with you. The first thing is this. It's amazing to me how older teenagers and younger teenagers can get together and there's no voice of reason or no example to be set except for a negative one. Look at the ages of those kids. 17 years old, 15 years old, 14 years old, and 13 years old. When there were a lot of family values and the world was a little bit different and people act like they had sense and cared about parenting their children, the mindset between a 17-year-old and a 13-year-old were miles apart. Now it's like the older are teaching the younger, or the younger are learning from the older. It's no damn way both of them are in the car at the same damn time and somebody's a driver. None of them are old enough to drive. You know, minus the 17-year-old, I don't know what the laws are, but you understand what I'm saying. Said one of them had a school uniform on. They jump out the car. One left a backpack on the ground. They're driving around in a stolen car. No, they ain't supposed to be driving. But the temptation was there. Here it is, a Friday afternoon. People looking forward to the weekend, especially kids. Hey, I ain't got school tomorrow. You know, I can't wait to sleep in late. A lot of us thought like that. Nowadays, it ain't like that. Another thing is this. You're seeing these kids doing adult crimes of the most savage nature. Told you, there are people out here that do this type of stuff and they love doing it. They know they weren't supposed to be in that car, but they love joyriding. They don't know they don't want to go to jail, but they love the fact that it's a chance they could go. Then when the police do get behind them, because that car does belong to somebody and it's stolen, so somebody's day and whatever time the car been messed up, you know, the car has been gone, their life has been messed up, because you know, when you have a car, you rely on it for your transportation and a means for your financial stability, a lot of times going to and from work. But these kids don't think about that. They in the car and they run around here doing these adult crimes. Cops get behind them because the car get pinged as a stolen vehicle. They're using their technology. They just following behind the car. Kids in the car, all of a sudden, the jig is up. They act like it's a Hollywood movie, jump up, lean out the window, start licking off shots. Now, I'm going to show you something. We all know the difference between right and wrong. And it's crazy now where kids will attack grown-ups and grown-ups won't hit them back or really defend themselves. If you look at a lot of stories that are out here where teens assault grown-ups because in their head they know that they're children. How long do you think that's going to last? Because these children also know in their head that that's a grown-up and they should respect it. But then again, a lot of these kids are raised in households where they're feral, chaotic environments, and they raise themselves. So a lot of stuff that men teach boys, these kids ain't learning. Whose fault is that? These kids are out here doing a lot of stuff, and it's not just in Mobile, Alabama. It's all these other places, you know, and stories that I do and stories I don't do sometimes. Sometimes the monotony and stuff with kids and carjacking and stuff is so much I just don't even cover it sometimes. But this right here is unique to me because you got after school hours. Evidently, one of the kids was in school, got picked up, or they all had the car up at the school. It don't even matter. But think about it. The young is following the older, and the older are not setting any example because they themselves didn't have an example to go through or follow themselves. You can blame parenting to an extent because nowadays with the temptation and the mobilization of music nationally for this savage type mindset, that you could have good kids and the temptation and who they're around is what's pulling them in a negative direction. It's hurtful seeing these kids doing that. But then again, how can you feel bad? And something does have to be done. Another thing is this. A lot of these kids in a lot of these different cities, Baltimore to name one of them, they do crazy crimes and then get turned back over to their parents. We are in the age of no accountability, and I think the justice system helps with that. You know, parents can only do so much when a child is in their house. But when they go out and, you know, are in the world, whether it's at school or being around other kids, that, you know, for their social, you know, development, it's a dice roll. It's just upsetting, and I wanted to point that out. You know, you do adult crimes, you should get adult punishments. That's my issue with this. I mean, it's not like they were forced. This is willful, chaotic error. And like I told you before, there are people out there that's only recreation is the recreation. And nowadays they're starting young. Look at how young these kids are now. And they have a savage killer mindset, a lot of them. You shot at police with a gun that you know wasn't yours, but you thought it was a good idea to shoot at police. If them police opened fire on these kids and killed them, and they was in the street, people that didn't know the story, they'd have just seen kids out there, bunch of recording. Oh, the cops this, the cops that. BLM would have showed up, of course. But it's a lot more to the story a lot of times. And a lot of times the trouble and problems that are brought onto these kids are problems that they bring on themselves by choice. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Take care.